Broadcasting live from the Buckhead Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Legal Experts.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Atlanta Legal Experts Radio. I am your host, Emily Rowell with Peachtree Offices, and we have a great lineup this morning. I've got Richard Casanova here with Buckhead Business Radio X. How are you today?
Richard. I go by Rich, but Richard, I feel like that's my mom used when I was in trouble. Richard, get in here, yeah. You got a full house here this morning, yeah.
I do.
And our producer engineer Ryan's going to be chiming in with some bios this morning.
Yes, absolutely. And so we want to welcome everybody this morning. I've got Frazer Clark here. Good morning. I've already messed up. I need a little more coffee.
How long here in Atlanta?
I've been in Atlanta since 1988. I went to Emory Law School and graduated from there and stayed here.
All right.
And you're going to talk a little bit about
plaintiff's personal injury. I'm a trial lawyer. I only represent individuals, plaintiffs who have been injured through negligence of someone else or some corporation, and I represent plaintiffs exclusively.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And she is a top 100 trial lawyer, too. So
wow.
Y'all get ready.
I want to be that one day when I grow up, yeah. I don't know how I could make that happen. That's not as easy as it sounds, yeah.
Welcome, Robin Frazer Clark. She is a trial lawyer who represents people who have been injured in civil lawsuits. Robin has practiced law in Atlanta for 27 years. She is a past president of the State Bar of Georgia, the Mandatory Bar Association, comprised of 44,000 Georgia lawyers. She is also a past president of the Georgia Trial Lawyers Association, a professional association of plaintiffs' personal injury lawyers. Robin is currently the president of the Lawyers Club of Atlanta. Robin has been elected to the membership in the American Board of Trial Advocates and the International Society of Barristers. Robin has been named as one of the top 50 women lawyers in Georgia. She and her husband, Bill Clark, who is director of political affairs of Georgia Trial Lawyers Association, have been married for 23 years and have two children, Chaz, age 20, a senior at Georgia College, State University, and Alex, age 18, who will be entering University of Georgia this fall. Welcome, Robin Frazer Clark.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you.
Thanks so much for being here. Tell me about trying cases in court. And do you do that? Obviously.
I do. I'm a trial lawyer, and I handle only personal injury plaintiffs' cases. I represent individuals who have been injured. And when I take a case, I have to sum it up and evaluate it because I always assume it won't settle, that we're going to go to trial. So when I take in a case and decide I'm going to represent somebody, it's with the mindset that we're going to ultimately try that case. Now, a lot of cases settle on the way to trial, but I am a real trial lawyer who goes and strikes the jury and tries the case and wins the case for the client.
Wonderful. So you kind of start with the end in mind.
I believe that's important.
So tell me about your fees. What is a contingency fee?
Contingency fee is a fee that is contingent upon recovery for the client. I don't get paid unless I recover something for the client. Unless we win, I don't get paid a fee. So it's a great mechanism to allow someone who has no means to be able to hire a great trial lawyer and get her case heard. It's really a wonderful way to level the playing field with the defense attorneys who bill corporations by the hour. So I don't bill by the hour. I only get a fee if we're successful.
And you represent the plaintiff.
I always represent the plaintiff.
And so if you lose, what happens? Do you still get a fee?
No, I don't. I don't get a fee. We're in it together. That's one of the great things I think about representing plaintiffs and contingency fees is that I'm in the boat with the client. We've got to win this together.
Right. Right. And what kind of cases you take personal injury cases. So what have been your favorite cases that you've taken? I
take a wide variety. In the realm of plaintiff's personal injury cases, I do just about everything. Car wreck cases, bicyclists, if you've been injured riding a bike, if you've been run over by a car as a pedestrian. And let me just point out, a lot of people don't realize they may have a case if they're run over by a car that's even a hit and run. And that's a certain situation called where you would have an uninsured motorist case.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't recognize that or even realize that. But I represent pedestrians, bicyclists, people who are injured in car wrecks. I handle slip and falls. Those are called premises liability cases. I handle products liability cases where someone's been injured by a product that is defective. And that's a wide range, any kind of product. And medical malpractice, sexual harassment. I do anything where any individual has been injured or damaged by someone else or some other company or product.
So if somebody has been to a business several times and then they get injured in that business, is there a case there? Like a Kroger?
Yes. Let's take that situation, a Kroger or a Publix or a grocery store where they frequent. That would be a premises liability case. And if they fall or trip over something that shouldn't be there in the way, there are certain standards that every business has to uphold, one of which that we're talking about, such as in a Walmart or a Publix or a Kroger or any place like that. They have a duty to patrol the aisles every 15 minutes and make sure there's nothing that could hurt one of their business customers.
Right.
And so you can get proof of that. A lot of times there are cameras taking video, which we always get that inside of a lawsuit. We obtain that, and we can prove that they didn't follow the rules, and then there is a case for injuries.
So I bet you have a lot of like private investigators that help you.
I do.
Who else? What other types of businesses that help you?
Private investigators. Often in my car wreck cases, I have an accident reconstructionist.
Sure.
For example, in car wreck cases now, almost every car has a black box that tells you how fast the car was going at the time of impact and even 5-10 seconds
really?
before impact.
I didn't know that.
Whether the seat belts were on, whether they deployed. The
airbag
and so
deployed.
yes, and so for example, I'll hire an expert who has expertise in downloading that computer information from the black box of the car, and then that expert can tell me. For example, I've got a case right now where I have an expert who's downloaded the information from the defendant's vehicle. The defendant has said under oath that he stopped at a stop sign. Terrible crash with my client's a T-bone. And my client says, no, he ran the stop sign. Well, we can prove with this black box that, in fact, he ran the stop sign because 1 second before the collision, he was going 25 miles per hour, according to the black box. So when you get that kind of information, it's case over.
Right.
So that sort of expert, accident reconstructionist. I know J.P. Gingras is here. He's an economist. I often use an economist to help me tell the story of damages of my client. And so an economist
help them get a good settlement.
Or at trial. JP's testified for me at trial. So we put that kind of evidence on at trial to show the jury damages, future lost wages as a result of this injury.
Wow, that's amazing. This is exciting. And now I know why you do what you do.
It's interesting. It's interesting work. I really love it and have a passion for it.
Yeah, and helping people, get
I love
what they
it,
deserve.
yes.
So tell me, do you think trial lawyers have a bad name in the public?
I think generally they might, because I think there's been a campaign against trial lawyers as if we're, I don't know.
Always suing or?
Well, that's right. You know what? They say always suing. I say holding irresponsible people accountable.
Right.
And without the civil justice system, let me tell you, a lot of people would not be held accountable. There would be no justice for a lot of people, but for the civil justice system.
Right.
We can't always rely on government to bring negligent actors to justice. It's got to be the civil justice system. So I think people have wrongly given trial lawyers a bad name. Through my work with the state bar and Georgia trial lawyers, I hope I am trying to make a difference to change that. To say, no, we're the good guys. We're the ones that get justice for people. We're in this fight with you, and we protect the civil justice system.
I've got a quick question. Rich Casanova here. How much has the civilian media helped your cause and case in recent years? And is all that admissible? Or, I mean, how do you beyond the standard security cameras?
You're talking about like if there's a news story?
No, I mean if somebody with their smartphone's taken video of the incident, right?
Oh, definitely. We would try to find out if there is any video taken by a phone or anyone there. I mean, we talk to every eyewitness involved in a wreck who sees a wreck. We would get that, and it's admissible.
Okay.
All he has. for a video to be admissible, it's very easy. It's just, is it a fair and accurate representation of what you saw?
Okay.
Boom, it's
Right.
in, and we put that into evidence.
Okay.
So back to the hit and run, that reminds me. So how would you get a case for that person?
Well, a lot of people don't know this, and I have a blog, and I've blogged about this, and it's interesting because I want people to know. If you own a car, you've bought a particular type of insurance called uninsured motorist coverage, that covers you even as a pedestrian. But I'm going to challenge you to go look at your policy. The word pedestrian's never used in it, or on foot, or anything like that. It is designed not to say that, designed not to tell you that you have coverage, but you do. And in fact, this one case I had where a young man was struck right over here in Buckhead by the Tongue and Groove on Piedmont Road, struck by a hit-and-run car. There's no question we could prove that. We had many witnesses. He was in the crosswalk, hit and run. We brought an uninsured motorist claim against his carrier, State Farm, fought for years and years and years. You're talking about obtaining justice. We fought for years, had to take it to the Georgia Court of Appeals. So there's now a case, Eels versus State Farm, that says exactly what I'm saying. The Court of Appeals of Georgia had to rule, yes, he's entitled to that uninsured motorist coverage.
Wow. So it's not like you have to go find the driver.
No, it's a case.
wondering.
It's a case against John Doe. So it's
Right.
the client versus John Doe.
Right.
And John Doe is going to be represented by your own insurance carrier.
Gotcha.
Wow. Quick question too. How many issues become insurance fraud where people approach you and they claim this happened, and can you kind of sniff through that or figure out?
You know, I would hope so. After 27 years of practicing law in Georgia, I'll tell you what though, when people come to me, Rich, it's a pretty big step to go see a lawyer and say, I want to bring a lawsuit. It's a pretty big moment. I've never had the situation you're describing where someone comes and contacts me and is bringing some sort of fraudulent deal. I've never encountered that in 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I imagine you'd have to be a pretty good actor and pretty be able to disguise that. Yeah. All right.
So if something happened, could I sue the state of Georgia for an injury?
Yes, you can. Although typically states have what's called sovereign immunity, protecting the king. The king has done no wrong. You can't sue the state. We have an exception to that called the Georgia Tort Claims Act. It allows us to sue the state. There are many, many rules to follow that you have to meet to be able to do that. But it's a waiver of their sovereign immunity up to $1 million per claim. Most states have some sort of waiver, but then they cap damages. So ours has a waiver, but we've capped damages for each claim at $1 million. If you follow the steps, and it's intricate, under the Georgia Tort Claims Act, you're allowed to sue the state, and only the state. Let's say you're hit by an employee of the state in a car, and he's on the job. You would normally have a case against the person who's driving that car.
Right.
You don't in a state case. You have to sue the state of Georgia or the agency for which that employee is working.
What would another situation be where I would have to sue the state?
For example, I have many cases against the Department of Transportation. I sue the DOT quite a bit for negligent design of a road, negligent maintenance. They have an absolute duty to maintain state-owned right-of-ways. So I have that sort of situation quite a bit where a person's been involved in an accident. We investigate it and realize it's because of the defective design or defective warnings, defective signs, defective roadway, negligent maintenance, where there's a drop-off. There's a certain standard they have to follow for a certain amount of drop-off, and maybe they've allowed it to get too deep. I represent people on those kind of cases quite frequently.
Wow, that is so interesting, and I love your passion. You definitely love what you do.
Thank you. I do. I love it.
So, where are you located?
I'm in Midtown, 1230 Peachtree Street, in the Promenade Building. It's a Peachtree Street address, but it's really at 15th and Peachtree, across from Woodruff Arts Center. You can also contact me by email, Robin, ROBIN, Clark, CLARK, at gatriallawyers.net. And that's my website too, gatriallawyers.net. You can go there, find out more about me, and my blog is on there as well.
And you're all over social media too.
I do quite a bit. Yeah, I enjoy it.
And congratulations on the top 50 women.
Thank you.
In the state of Georgia. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm proud of that too.